Hi everyone, I am Sas and this is a video which no one asked for, but I thought just in case if anyone is facing the same problem as me, this video would be a solution for them. So the problem I faced was I have an IPv6-only VPS on which I ran an Express server, but the ISP provider of my Wi-Fi BSNL had IPv4 only support. So when I hit the Express server with my IPv4 only Wi-Fi, it didn't send back the response. But when I hit the same route with Cloudflare was enabled on my desktop, I was getting the response. So it was an server issue. So in this video I am going to tell how I resolved that. So if you are only for the solution here, so let me tell how I did that quickly. So for that you would require a domain name in the Cloudflare and an NGINX which acts as a reverse proxy in that VPS. So what I did was I had a domain name in Cloudflare, so I added an subdomain as API and pointed that to my IPv6 VPS, and inside the VPS I installed NGINX and configured it to act as a reverse proxy, so that whenever I hit, so as you can see in the picture also, whenever I hit the IPv6 address of my VPS, it would go through the domain name which is inside my Cloudflare. So it acts as a resolver in between the client, my computer which is IPv4, and the server which is running with IPv6 only IP address. So this was it. So if you are here for long explanatory video, I would like to give a brief about what DNSs are and how the things work under the hood. So as you already know how internet works, so whenever we make a request, it first goes to the DNS server of the ISP provider. So internet, so we get the internet from the ISP providers like Jio, BSNL, Airtel, etc. So when we send a request, it first reaches the DNS servers of the ISP. So what is a DNS server means? So first, DNS means domain naming system. What does DNS mean? DNS is like a telephone registry. So what we generally do is, for suppose if I hit google.com here, this is a domain name, but every server has an IP address which is publicly exposed to the internet. So let me show. IP address of google.com. So as you can see, 172 dot, if I copy and enter it here, see, it took to the same site. So what does it mean? So they have internally written some redirect to the domain name inside the server, but what does the DNS servers do is, whenever we hit it with an domain name, it is linked with an IP address. So it's like without exposing our house address means it means it is hard to remember these things, no? So for how many addresses would you remember such IP addresses? So to simplify that, the domain names were introduced. So what does the DNS servers do is, so it takes the domain name, and from that it redirects to this IP address which is stored in the DNS servers, like a telephone directory which have the name and the phone number of a particular individual. So that's how DNS servers work. So that's the one thing. And another thing I wanted to share was what are the differences between IPv4 and the IPv6 addresses. So I have summarized some details with the Gemini. So as you can see, IPv4 uses a 32-bit address, so which are limited in number, which might get exhausted after some time. So if it get exhausts, what if new users want to expose themselves to internet? So to resolve the issue for the future proof of the internet, IPv6 was introduced. As you can see, IPv6 uses 128-bit addresses, which are these much of unique addresses which are inexhaustible in theoretically and both practically. So IPv4 are represented in decimal notation and IPv6 are in hexadecimal notation. So these are the basic things about the DNS and what are IPv4 and IPv6. So I am at a new place, but previously when I was at home and I had IPv4 only Wi-Fi, I recorded the problem and the solution parts. So I would like to play the videos here and just give a brief what I was facing and how I resolved the stuff. So let me just open a video within 1 second. So this is the video I was talking about. So let me play it. So as you can see, first the Cloudflare war client on my desktop was enabled already. So I think I would disable it now. So I disabled it now. See, it's disconnected. So this is a website which I use to test whether my my ISP has both IPv4 and 6 addresses or not. So as you can see, my BSNL Wi-Fi didn't had IPv4 or IPv6 address. So if I try to connect to my IPv6 address through my IPv4 Wi-Fi, it would not, because both of them are two different protocols and it won't talk. So it's like when a Hindi person enters the Karnataka and speaks in Hindi, this person says speak in Kannada. I don't understand Hindi. So it's the similar thing. So see, network is unreachable, so it disconnected. It means it didn't allow, it refused for the connection. And some of the ISP providers have broken DNS servers which are either cached or I think some of the CDNs might be blocked on the DNS. So I faced another issue, that was the BSNL ISP DNS servers are broken or something, I don't know, but whenever I open the Discord app, it doesn't show the profile pictures or pictures anything in general. As you can see here, no profile pictures are loaded. These are cached, I think, that's why it loaded. As you can see here also, for that stuff I used Google DNS resolvers, which are 8.8.8.8 and 8.8.8.4. so these resolvers are up to date, and whenever some things happen, they update the servers frequently, and everything is what can I say, updated in the DNS servers. So as you can see in the video, the display pictures are not loaded. This would load either if I use the warp CLI client or if I update the DNS servers in my Wi-Fi. I went to the Google DNS servers here, went to my Wi-Fi settings, updated my Wi-Fi DNS manually, updated both of them, IPv4 and IPv6 also. But these are only DNS resolvers, not the ISP, IPv4 and IPv stuff. So this just resolves. So whenever I made a request to the server from the client, it only used as an address book, not the IP which myself is requesting from. So as you can see in the video, IPv6 is not still there. I did a leak test to check whether they have updated it or not. As you can see, DNS servers are of Google. So I restart it. I restart the Discord. So this was another issue which I wanted to share. What could a DNS servers which are broken can cause? As you can see now, all the display pictures are loaded properly. So as I previously said, these are only DNS resolvers, not the actual client ISP addresses. So as you can see, even though it resolves DNS queries, it didn't give me an IPv6 address locally. So I switched now to Cloudflare warp. I think I connected to the Cloudflare warp client. It is 1:1:1:1 VPN thing, which gives both IPv4 and IPv6 addresses. It's connected now, and now if I try to connect to my VPS server, see, the connection is established and I was able to connect. So these were the problems which I faced in IPv4 connection. Now the thing is, the VPS is also IPv6 only, so it does not have the IPv4 outbound. So see, now I wasn't able to curl GitHub things. As you can see here, I wasn't able to curl or wget GitHub things, since I don't know what is issue with them. I think all of them are only IPv4, not the future proof IPv6 supported. That's why I was getting the issue. So what I do is I update the name servers. So this is the Express server I was talking about. So what I do is I update the name servers in the resolve.conf to the DNS64 DNS addresses, which are given by T-Rex provider, I think. So what does that do? Let me let me explain in brief. What does that do mean? It takes the IPv4 request. It has the DNS64 interface has both the IPv4 and IPv6 addresses. So when I hit IPv4 thing, whenever I want to go outbound with IPv4 or IPv6, let it be anything. So what happens is these name servers as at intermediate thing. So if I hit IPv6 with the request with for suppose github.com, so it hits to the DNS64 name servers IPv6 one, and what happens is these synthesizes into IPv4. So it internally converts into the IPv6 into the IPv4, and then what happens is this IPv4 hits the GitHub's IPv4 address, and that same thing happens again. From there the response comes to here, it synthesizes back to here, and it sends back to the server. So let me play the video. You would understand here visually clearly. The server was running and I wasn't able to hit the server from my IPv4 only address. So now Cloudflare warp is enabled. That means my computer have IPv6 address. That's why I was able to hit, and as you can see I got the response back. But when I disable it, as you can see I am disabling it now. When I disconnect it and hit the same route, you can see I am not getting any response because there was a mismatch between IPv4 and IPv6. There was a clash and I wasn't able to get response. If I connect back, and as you can see I was getting the response back. Man, this is gonna be a big video. Please be patient if you want to learn new things, or you can skip if you wanted to. So now I think I update the name servers of my VPS. So as you can see, resolve.conf. These are the name servers which the VPS provided by default, which are broken or something, I don't know. So now I change them. I am taking a backup here. Let me skip that part. So what I did is I thought Google DNS64 thing would work. So as you can see, IPv6 records with these synthetic IPv6 addresses to IPv4 only destination. Synthesis means conversion from IPv6 to IPv4. I thought this would work, but it didn't. So let me skip to the part where it actually worked. I wasn't able to ping through the IPv6 address also. It didn't work. Google DNS64 thing didn't work. So I took the T-Rex DNS64 addresses, updated them, and now when I try to install burn, see it is getting installed. So the synthesis thing happened here, and the IPv6 address of mine which has outbound hits the resolver, and from that resolver it gets an IPv4 thing and it hits the server. Even though name servers have been updated, those are for only outbound things. Outbound, what does outbound mean? What does inbound mean? Outbound means the requests which are going outside from our thing or anything, a server or a computer, that's called outbound. What is inbound? A request which is coming to us, that is called inbound. So the DNS64 resolver here just acts when a request has to go out as an outbound, not when a request comes into the server as inbound. So it resolves to hit the GitHub server through the synthesis, as I said, but it fails to get the IPv4 thing and convert it to IPv6 and hit my IPv6, because those were meant for only outbound, not the inbound. As you can see, still I wasn't able to, but when I connected it worked, because IPv6 converses it. I did something here. Bun got installed. This was another issue which I faced. So I made a Discord bot whose APIs were IPv4 only, but when I hosted them on my IPv6 address, it didn't work. So not the DNS synthesis also worked, and it didn't work eventually, so I gave up. I don't know what happened there, so let me skip that part. So when so here the server is running and my ISP was BSNL, I mean IPv4 only. I disconnected the work client here. As you can see here, I disconnected that. Even though if I connect, it would still work because it has IPv4 address. So I moved the file to my server. I tried to host it there, so I eventually gave up. This is just me copying my code file to the server. Let me skip it. Let it be. I faced so many issues, eventually I gave up there. I can host though, but I need an IPv4 only VPS for that, because it removes all the hassles. So some people go for IPv6 only because due to some pricing issues or budget issues. I got this IPv6 VPSs for free, that's why I'm using them. So I don't know. I have this thing for hosting and how the internet things work, how the request response things work. So even though I don't have any projects, I'm interested in these hosting things, how the things internally work, and yada yada. Let me skip this part. I gave up there. So now I have shown you two things. First was on the Discord thing. Second one was the outbound thing. That bun was bun one, IPv6 to IPv4 conversion. But now I want inbound. So how does inbounds work is, a client sends a request and it reaches the server, but when it has to converse it, two of them have to be the same IPs, like IPv4, IPv6, IPv6, no mismatch in there. So how I resolved that was Cloudflare. As I told in the beginning of this video, I used Cloudflare as an intermediary thing. So how did that idea sparked in my mind was, I have two VPSs in which one of them has NGINX working and my portfolio is running on it. So let me show. So let me get the IP address, this one. Browser. So this is my first VPS on which my web server, NGINX web server and my portfolio websites are running. So if I enter, as you can see, my portfolio website is loaded, everything is good. But if this is working, why my Express server was not working? Because this one had my domain name as you can see here, which is on Cloudflare. So Cloudflare was resolving things internally, and whenever I hit through my BSNL internet, which is IPv4 only, I was still able to go to this address because the domain name was acting as an intermediary thing, this one, which did all the inbound thing for my server, which took the IPv4 address. This Cloudflare thing both had IPv4, IPv6. It did the internal conversion and it gave the IPv6 request to the server. So it acted as the intermediary thing. So that idea sparked in my mind, and what I did was ask the Gemini, what can I do to do that thing for getting back my Express API's responses. So as you can see, it gave me a simple reverse proxy thing. Am I gonna install? This is the Cloudflare dashboard, the API subdomain, and the VPS which was running the Express server. So another important thing is you need to turn on this orange cloud. So if you remove or turn off this orange cloud, it only hits directly the address of the VPS server. There won't be an synthesis thing or whatever you can call. There won't be an intermediate thing. So any network which wants to go to the server, it would reach directly without being going through the Cloudflare DNS servers. Cloudflare proxies or whatever you can call. So NGINX is already installed. I think I'm pasting the code here for the reverse proxy thing. I have already pasted the code, and as you can see, server name is api.cs.in. And another issue I faced was, so let me tell you what happened. So as you can see, I have told it on which port the API is running on. So Express servers was running on port 3000. So but whenever we hit the APIs through the Cloudflare, or whenever a request goes through the Cloudflare, it only goes to the port 80 or 443, HTTP or HTTPS. But this is an 3000 port, which is not by default in Cloudflare, to which it doesn't go. So what I had to do was I had to do this reverse proxy configuration. So whenever I hit the api.sascs.in directly, it goes to here through Cloudflare port 80. Then it redirects, it goes to here on the server localhost 3000 gets the response back and gives back from here, from port 80 itself. So I show that too also. No need of port number because NGINX running as a reverse proxy. As you can see, if I hit the port 3000, I didn't got the response back as previous because NGINX doesn't listen on port 3000. I was excited there because I finally found a solution and I was happy. So now I wanted to try with IPv4 only Wi-Fi BSNL, and hooray, I got the response back. So that's how I solved this long issue which I was facing for so long time. As you can see, I turned off the war before I hit the route. So that's it. That was the video I wanted to make. Thank you for being patient and watch this long video. So this is my first ever explanatory thing I have made, and pardon me if I made any spelling mistakes or lagged it so much. I would suggest you to watch in 1.25x. So thank you, and if I get any solutions like this, I would make and upload videos like this because I hate writing blogs and I don't read blogs. I think videos are easy to explain and tell what are the things going on in a much better way. So bye bye.